and he is Haishuo Lee, and he is the champion almost every year in the speech contest. Last year in 2016, he won the English prepared speech champion. He also won the English table topic champion. He also won the third champion, which is the Mandarin table topic champion. Wow, you see, he personally won 3 champions in one conference last year. So we are so happy and we are so lucky to have him for tonight. Let's welcome Haishuo Lee.
First, sorry, thank you. One for each. Okay. Yes, okay. No problem. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great honor to visit Chungli Toastmasters tonight, and because I only have 20 minutes to finish the presentation, so as you can see, I've made you this wonderful handout. So, and the file is already in Brent's thumb drive, so you can get the file from him after the meeting. Okay, if you want to. Okay, so does everyone have a handout right now?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, so let's take a look at the very first part. So the very first step to find your story will be locating the very important 2 ways. So please write them down. So please hold a pen in your hand. So I'm the teacher, so this looks very like a class. Okay, so first is, there are 2 things you can choose from. The first is create or redefine. So please write down 2 words. So I will first suggest you to go from redefining. Redefine means you get a story from the life that you're living. For example, Oscar, thank you so much for your wonderful speech. Oscar was creating a speech from his life's experience and defining his life moments. As we all know, it's really unpleasant when we find an unwelcome customer. But Oscar made it a really funny, interesting story. So it's like you redefine your life moment. That's the first way you can go. And the second way you can go is not by redefining, it's by creating your life story. So if you want to create your life story, there are 3 ways you can go. The first way is called hero's journey. Second, nice quest. And third, redemption. If your story has 1 or 2 of these 3 elements, your story is going to rock. So now I'm going to very quickly talk about what are the differences between these 3 kinds of story. Am I speaking too fast?
It's okay.
It's okay.
If you think yes, if you want me to slow down. Thank you, because I really need to rush a bit. Okay, so for the very first one, please write down 2 words beside them. It's called growth and, growth. It's typo. Growth and breakthrough. And the second, for the nice quest, write down higher cost and persistence. For the last one, redemption, please write down emotion. Okay, so allow me to explain what does the first hero's journey mean. Hero's journey means that you have learned something new. So you're starting from one point and you have grown, you have improved. So you move from point A all the way to point B. So in the very first point, you didn't know how to do something, but then you learned to do something. So there was this growth and breakthrough. That will be hero's journey. And how about for nice quest? Nice quest means that you're already very good, but you're serving a higher cause. For example, you're fighting for your family. He talks about you already have the power to fight. You don't need to get stronger, but you're bearing a higher cause. So that's nice quest. So it's called higher cause and persistence. Higher cause, I want to talk a bit about higher cause because higher cause can always lead you to very good speech material. For example, soldiers die on the battlefield. Their higher cause is honor. Firemen will run into the burning houses, not because of money, also because of their sense of duty. So there's a higher cause that you're serving. Every single person has your higher cause, and your higher cause may be very different from others. And when you find your higher cause, there's always a reason for you to persist. And for redemption, it's the moment when you feel a lot of emotion. So I understand it's not very easy to think about your life experience from those words. So I personally have crafted 3 wonderful questions to help you. So for the very first hero's journey, please write down what's the last time that you feel proud of yourself. And for the second question, also, what's the last time that you can give up but chose not to? And for the last question will be, what's the last time you feel complete again? So think about those 3 different questions, especially I believe these 2 questions are rather easy, right? You feel proud of yourself and you feel complete again. Maybe you reconcile with your parents or you reconcile with your friend. There are a lot of different possibilities. But I'd love to talk more about the second question. It's always very important for us to locate this element in hero's journey, in life's quest, because think about this lady. Do you know there's a karate contestant who broke her leg on the venue, but I forgot her name. But she chose to keep on fighting. She had every reason to give up, but she chose not to. How about Nick Kovacic from Australia? The guy who was born with no hands, no arm, and no legs. He has every reason to give up, but he chose not to. Whenever you have reason to give up, but you chose not to, there will be a good speech, there will be a good story. So this first part is very important. You need to first create your story or redefine your life moments to find the best material. The very best lesson that I have learned from joining the World Speech Contest last year was, I heard this wonderful moment. That is, more practice will not necessarily make you a better speaker. Because if your speech strength is super bad, then more practice is just going to make your delivery even worse. So to start with, if you want to make a really good speech, you need a good story. And believe me, everyone has a good story. Because your life is different from mine, and my life is different from yours. So there's always something interesting that's worth sharing in your life. Redefine your life moment so that even the bad times in your life can become good speech material. Good?
Yes.
Then we're going to cover 7 different factors to make this story even better. Okay, the very first factor is called sushi, not steaks. Sushi. You know sushi, right?
Yes.
寿司. When you are trying to make your speech, you need to make your speech like sushi, not steaks. Imagine today you are going to eat sushi. So you just sit in front of the table. Use the hand to pick up a sushi, one at a time, no hassle. But imagine if today you are going to eat steak. You need knife, you need fork, you need a lot of different stuff, right? No. Don't make your speech like a steak. Make your speech like a sushi. That is, when you speak, don't require your audience to think. Your message should be chopped up into small chunks so that when it's fed to the audience can take in really smoothly. Why? Because audience, is it recording?
Yes.
I'm going to say this in front of the camera. Because the audience are stupid. I'm not saying that every single person is stupid in the audience, but hear me out. Imagine you are the 8th participant. There are already 7 speakers in front of you. So when you are the 8th to speak, the audience has already heard so many things in front of you. It's not that they are not willing to think, it's that they are unable to think. So if your speech is like a steak, so sorry, the audience won't be able to comprehend. So make your speech like a sushi, not a steak. So after the very first part, think about this question. Which of the speech is easiest to understand? Imagine you have come up with 3 different stories, right? So think about which story is the easiest to understand. So that story should hold a simple story structure and should be easy to follow. Also, it should have a very similar, familiar scenario. For example, let me give you a really good example using Oscar speech. Oscar speech talking about customers who are always asking for discounts. Are you familiar with this?
Yes.
Yes, you understand about this, right? But imagine if today I'm going to tell you I'm a computer programmer, and I'm going to tell you all the pains I suffer when I'm writing computer program. Do you understand computer program? No, see, so it's very bad choice. Right, so you need to choose something that's very easy for the audience to understand. Okay? So, this is the first factor, another 6 to go. The second is the climax factor. A really good story always come up with at least 1. So of course there could be 2, there could be 3. For example, in Oscar speech, there's many more. I like your speech very much personally. I really like it. So, but at least you need 1 climax. In Chinese it's called 高潮. You need that, at least 1. So after you have locate your speech, write down your speech here and give them a score. So for example, for speech 1's climax maybe 7, for second maybe 8, and if the last one is 9, then maybe the third speech will be the one to go. Okay, so think about which one can give you the best climax. The next is sort of the emotional factor. A speech can hit the audience, sometimes not with the message, but with the emotion it carries. Use your speech to find out what kind of emotion is included in your speech, and then think about what kind of target audience you're targeting. For example, think about if it's a club speech, that's no big deal. You say whatever you want to do. But think about it. If it's a contest speech, in a national contest, how old the judges are going to be? Are they going to be very young? No, they're not. They are going to be fathers or mothers or grandfathers or grandmothers. So think about speech which carries emotions that can hit them. Think about this. If it's a speech, when it comes to speech, you always think about winning, winning, winning. If it's not a speech contest, then, well, winning is not the vector. But if you join the contest to win, right? So you need to think about what kind of emotion can hit your target audience. And the most important target audience are the judges. And the most important part is this, alignment. A lie is not that much of like a just. Do you know the lie? 对齐, 就要把它对齐. And as you can see here are C and E, right? I'm going to tell something, and what I'm going to say may not be the best message for brand. I'm sorry, but the thing is, do you know that a lot of speakers in Taiwan, when they're a native speaker, they are more likely to lose instead of more likely to win? Do you know this? The reason is because sometimes when their English are just too good, some of the judges wouldn't be able to understand what they're talking about.
That's so sad.
It is, but it is what it is. So, when you are trying to draft your speech, think about if this emotion is going to hit the local judges or international judges, and if you one day you got lucky and move up to the international level, you need a speech that can cater not to the Taiwanese audience. You need a speech that carries the message that can hit the audience across nations, across races, and across cultures. So that would be quite a challenge at that time. But this comment just to remind you that you need to do that alignment. You need to do it. All right, so that's criterion 3, the emotional factor. Criterion 4, the back of the page, please. Please turn it to the back of the page. Okay. Here we come to the criterion 4, and we'd love to tell you a story here. It's summarize your speech in one sentence, right? 2008, that will be 8 years ago. That was my very first year joining Toastmaster. I joined Toastmaster in 2008. And in that year, very luckily, I made it to the national contest. And in that contest, I knew that I'm going to fight Semisu. Do you know Semisu?
Yes.
Semisu was a super strong speaker. Actually, she was the only speaker that has ever won any prize on the international level in Taiwan. So she was really good. So the moment I knew that, well, I was the new member. Imagine. I was standing up to the basketball level and find that I'm going to fight Michael Jordan. It didn't feel good. But the thing is, I decided not to give up. So I did something very interesting. That is, I knew if I'm going to defeat Semisu, I needed someone better to help me. So I started to write letters to all the past international champions and see who are going to help me. Luckily, some did reply without charging me any money. So I got this letter from the 2003 World Champion of Public Speaking, whose name is Jin Ki. And Jin Ki told me something. He said, if you want to learn more from me, then I need to charge you. But before that happens, I have a golden advice to provide you. And Jin Ki said, if you can only tell your audience one sentence, what would that be? Ever since that day, I always ask myself this before I step up to the stage. If you can tell your audience only one sentence, how would that be? And if you cannot, wow, this is a movie, wow! Okay.
Too close.
Trust me, well, lose some weight, to lose some weight. Okay, but the thing is that you need to be able to always summarize your speech in one sentence. You need to do that. And the thing that is that, if you're really going to join the speech contest, the thing that you need to do is that after you have drafted your speech, you visit other clubs to deliver, right? You give papers to others and ask others, what kind of message do they get? And if you find that their speech differs, well, then you need to change. Their speech needs to be unified. Okay, so the next one will be the acting factor. Allow me to show you something. First is, you know this guy?
Yes.
This guy's Mahan Quintani. He's the champion 2015.
Yes.
Yeah, and in the very beginning, as you can see, there is this acting. How about this? This gentleman is going to visit us. He's going to be in Taiwan in April. So if you want to see him, well, be there in the national conference. In the very beginning, he prepared these roses and used this flower to act. How about this year's World Champion of Public Speaking, Darren Tay? In the very beginning of his speech, he wore a pair of underwear outside of his suit. Acting. Acting is very, very important. Why? You may not see it's very important here, but imagine if today you're dealing a super large stage, you need to act, or people won't notice you. So try to find out which speech has really good acting scenarios. And if there's no good acting scenario, here's one secret, that is try to use conversation in your speech. If there's conversation, then there will be acting. So put conversation in your speech. The sixth, sensory factor. Sensory factor, the most important thing will be this one. Please underline this. How vivid will your mental movies be? And I'm going to show you an example which I prepared for you, which is over here. It's Jin Hee's speech script, and the file is also in Brand's some drive, so you can ask him for this. Okay, allow me to read through the very first part. Okay. The theater is quiet, listening. The aroma of overpriced popcorn permeates the air. Smell. You settle in for the perfect family outing, feeling. And then it happens. The film you're watching takes a sudden emotional turn. You try to resist, but you can't help it. Before you know it, your eyes begin to sweat. When you have created this mental movie, it's very easy for you to pull your audience in your speech. And how do you pull your audience into your speech? You use sensory cues. You use sensory feelings. You use hearing, you use eyes, use smell, use whatever sensory feelings you can use. Okay, I'm going to rush a bit because I'm going to face my red board very soon. Okay, so after the 6, here comes the 7th, it's called the avatar factor. You all know the movie Avatar, right? Avatar means becoming someone great. Okay, so imagine, who is your favorite speaker? Imagine if today it's he or her that's going to do the speech, but not you. Imagine today I ask her, I'm going to do a speech. I'm going to be more humorous, right? So imagine you have become someone who's better than you. You become better. Fake it till you make it. My time is up. Thank you very much.